playing with those memories again. So, well, I dated myself with that song. If you recognize that song, then you probably have a good idea how old I am. Anyway, I'm going to do something different, something mundane. Everybody on social media, they take pictures of their food, or they take pictures of themselves cooking. And I usually think this is ridiculous, but I do know some people I like really well, who pretty much that's all they do on social media, and I'm kind of fine with that now. So what I'm going to do is I just today cooked myself a lunch slash early dinner, and it was very basic stuff because I am a single guy, so I have to cook for one person. I usually end up over, you know, cooking too much and having stuff that I have to save for later. So I have a later snack. So I get a dinner and then a little supper. I can't remember which one of those comes first. There's a difference. I think maybe supper comes first and then dinner later. Whatever. I get 2 meals like a hobbit. And so I was just going to go through because here's the thing. I tried cooking with recipes and I can't do it. I cannot stick to the recipe. So what I basically do is I just think of a bunch of stuff that I think would taste good together, and then I just cook it up. So what I like to do, even what I'm going to talk about today, is kind of something that starts like a stir fry and then it turns into something a little bit different. And I do this in a soup pot specifically because I don't do it in a pan, specifically because I don't like how the pan allows splash. And you can get the same effect in a soup pot without the splash and without a lot of cleanup. And of course, me being lazy and not liking to clean, that's perfect. So what I do is I use a soup pot and I fry some stuff up. And what I usually start with, regardless of the meat or the other, whether I'm doing something that's more on the, just on the oil side or something that's on the cream side. Today I'm going to talk about something because I've kind of been doing a lot of cream recipes lately. For a week I was doing some experiments with scallops, and then I was going on steak, and then I did chicken for a while. I haven't gotten to pork yet. I really kind of want to do some pork recipes, just some experimentation. But today I did something with steak, with steaks that were cut into strips, like you would in a stir fry. But what I started with was Kerrygold butter and olive oil, and virgin olive oil. And the ratio I like to use is about 2/3 butter and 1/3 olive oil, with some salt, some black pepper because I don't mind the color, some Mexican blend spice, which I just buy in the little bottle, and some garlic. And I also had some bacon, which is pre-cooked and then crumbled in so that the flavor infused the rest of the food. And then I put the steak strips in. And I'm going to try to put up here an image of that frying up. So after that had been going on for a while, what I do is, let the steak cook a little bit. And because I like the rest of the stuff to maintain a little bit of its crunchiness, the vegetables, then I put in some sliced red and green bell pepper and some sliced onion. After which, because these things cook at different rates, I put in some baby bello, some sliced baby bello, which you can see there, and as it starts to develop, because I've learned over time that you don't want to throw all these things in there at once, because I'm an idiot. I could have learned this stuff from paying attention to doing cooking tutorials on YouTube, but I had to learn it the hard way. Near the end, I put in some shredded cheese. I use cheddar, but really it's weird because cheddar is not my favorite. Actually, I don't know why I didn't use provolone, but I used cheddar to give it a little bit of a cheesy something. The cream sauce that I was going to build later, I wanted to have a little bit more thickness to it. So I put some shredded cheddar in there with some chopped kale. And I don't like to put the kale in too early because I don't like the kale necessarily to be cooked too much. I like it to have still have a little bit of its crunch. And then here you can see it all mixed up. At the very end, when I'm almost ready to finish, that's when I pour in the heavy cream. and mix it all up good. And at the when I put the cream in, I usually put in some ground nutmeg, which you might think is strange, but you'd be surprised how nutmeg adds a very unique flavor. A lot of people think that nutmeg is only for desserts, but try some nutmeg in your other foods, and you'll find that it does add a little bit, because it's not really sweet. It complements sweetness well, but nutmeg itself is not sweet. But it adds a really unique sort of undercurrent of flavor that I like. I've always liked nutmeg. And as you can probably see from the image, I also put some sriracha sauce on top. And when I was done and I pulled it out and presented it in its bowl, I also put some sriracha on, mainly for color, because it's weird because I was cooking for myself, so it's not like I'm presenting it to someone else. But I like that color in there too, and I also like sriracha sauce. So a little bit of extra sriracha on top that's not blended into the cream sauce was nice. Anyway, I hope you like this sort of unusual Thoughts of Leith. I usually don't talk about cooking because, quite frankly, I'm not a good cook. So a lot of you who are really good cooks are probably looking at this video and going, "Oh my God, this guy made 14 mistakes in this one recipe." But I'm telling you, it's delicious. I'm still eating it right now. I was eating it and it was so good that I thought, "Hey, you should do a video on this." I took the videos and I was just going to put the videos on my Facebook, and just as a sort of a joke to my friends, is, "Oh, I'm putting cooking videos on Facebook," and then I thought, no, what, compile them into Thoughts of Leith. And maybe there's someone out there who's just a single person who doesn't know how to cook and doesn't have the confidence and doesn't think that you can actually personally experiment. I'm a terrible cook. If I can do this, you can do this. Just try stuff out. Next time you're at the store and you have a little bit of extra money, buy some spices. Try some things. Cumin is something I love to play with. Get the blends, the Italian blend, the Mexican blend. It's they've done all the work for you. Try the strange stuff, the stuff that you didn't even think about. Okay, put some cloves in something every once in a while, some nutmeg, some allspice. Well, allspice, but try allspice every once in a while, some tarragon, and get some of those the herbs that are in the produce section. Chop them up and try them out. Try different meats. Well, unless you're a vegetarian, but if you're not, and then try different meats. Try different vegetables. I've been thinking about throwing in some unusual vegetables. I've actually been thinking about doing a recipe like this and just taking pico de gallo and seeing what that, and maybe adding some sun-dried tomatoes in with the regular tomatoes that are already in the pico de gallo. Anyway, if you don't think you can cook and you're just like, I've got to eat out all the time, or I've just got to buy prepackaged stuff, don't do that. Just have fun with it. Just experiment with it. And if it turns out bad, it's not poison. Just eat it and learn lessons from it. As every bite is going to teach you a lesson. Don't mix those two foods together anymore. Anyway, this is my educational and my inspirational and my self-help and my how-to. Not a good example of any of those, but hopefully all together count for something. This is J. Nelson Leith, Thoughts of Leith. Like, share it, subscribe, and of course tune in later for more Thoughts of Leith.